have your cake and eat it. Juliette Bryant is a nutritionist and she's written a cookbook called Divine Desserts. All the recipes are gluten-free, they're vegan, and use no refined sugar. Juliette's coming to Norwich in a week's time to give a talk, a demo, and tasting. But before that, she's with us in the studio. Hi, Juliette.
Hello.
Lovely to see you. So, is it really possible to get a tasty dessert out of ingredients that maybe you wouldn't have thought of?
That's exactly right, and I've brought some here for you to try today. So I've brought a nice strawberry cheesecake, and there is no cheese involved in this cake at all. In fact, there's no gluten. The base is made with coconut, almonds and dates, and they form like a nice biscuit crust, and then the top is made with cashew nuts and coconut cream, and of course strawberries, as they are in season at the moment.
I suppose, just for scientific purposes, I ought to taste it.
You definitely should taste it.
So let's have a go here. How many recipes have you got in the book here?
So there are 33 delicious desserts in this book. And I wrote this book really for a few reasons. As a mother, I was very conscious about my children's health and not wanting them to have too much sugar. You know, with all the obesity and diabetes and cancer and heart disease on the increase, you know, I was really aware that it's so important what you put into your body.
That's lovely.
Oh, good.
Really gorgeous. And there's no cheese in that cheesecake?
There's no cheese at all. The cheesy creaminess is made with the cashew nuts.
Now, Juliette, this is our newsreader who's on this afternoon, Jo Thulis.
Nice to meet you.
Take a piece. You can have big or small.
Look at this. I'll only have a small piece.
Jo
really,
gravitates when cakes are
I had those cakes in the studio. But these smell wonderful, don't they? The strawberries are lovely.
And we've also got some lovely raw fudge here for you to try as well.
Now, that can't be good for you, surely.
Well, that's the interesting thing. Chocolate, the history of chocolate is quite amazing. And chocolate used to be used as currency. It was known as a form of gold. And chocolate itself, in its raw form, is the most bioavailable source of magnesium on the planet. So really good for your heart, really good for women for menstrual problems. That's why women always crave chocolate. Magnesium is really important for healthy bones. So there's so many things that chocolate has that's here, but not when it's roasted. So in its raw form, it contains all of this. So you can actually have chocolate and it's good for you, which I think is amazing, isn't it?
That's good news, isn't it? That's good news.
So, Jo, have you tasted anything
I
yet?
have. I just had it's a strawberry cheesecake, is it?
Yes.
It's really sweet, isn't it? And creamy and lovely.
How do you make it that creamy then without the refined sugar and all the cheese and stuff?
So the cashew nuts and the coconut milk you blend up together, and I've used dates and a little bit of maple syrup, because sugars, if we have natural sugars, it's okay. It's the refined sugars that we don't want, because your body can process natural sugars, so dates and things like that. So as long as it's 100% maple syrup and natural dates, then you're on to winners.
Oh, there you go.
So
have you ever made a cake, Jo?
Oh, I have. I made a Victoria sponge once that they said was like a flat jam sandwich. That was the best accolade my aunt could give.
You'll have to look at my book, because there's a nice Victoria sponge recipe in there, which is a cooked one. Most of the desserts in there are raw, so you don't even need an oven. But I have done a few classic takes on things like Victoria sponge, beetroot and chocolate cake, and a few cookies which are cooked. But the majority are raw, because then you've got all the enzyme activity. So it's actually like having medicine. You know, it's having food that's really going to make you thrive.
Naughty but nice was the old advertising line for cream cakes, wasn't it? Are you trying to make these naughty and, not so naughty and very nice?
These are naughty in their taste, well, they taste like they should be naughty, but actually there's no naughtiness in them at all.
And were you a fan previously? Is this something to replace what you had a craving for in terms of cakes and desserts?
Definitely. I've always had quite a sweet tooth. When I was growing up, my mother was terminally ill with multiple sclerosis, and she switched our diet onto very low processed food. She cut out sugars, did all that kind of stuff. And in the early 80s, the desserts you had were rubbish. There wasn't anything like there is now.
Jam, roly-poly? I won't have it, that's rubbish.
Well, I couldn't have any of that. So the alternatives, there weren't really alternatives. There were carrot bars, which were disgusting, and sesame snaps. And that was about it as your alternative to a healthy dessert. So I grew up always wanting all that stuff and going out and getting it secretly. And then when I had children, I thought, you know what? I really want to be able to give them stuff that's good for them but still taste delicious, so you can compete with all of those naughty desserts but actually have something like this. So I think you should try some of this fudge.
Oh my
so
goodness.
There's a plain or there's a supercharged.
What's the supercharged one?
So the supercharged has hemp seeds, goji berries and cherries on.
Wow.
Hemp seeds.
Have you seen the colour? It looks like they've got... Is that goji berries?
That's a
the red
goji
ones
berry,
there?
yeah, of course.
This is
Here,
brilliant. Thank
you need to have a
Yeah,
taste.
let me have a little bit of chocolate as
And
well.
obviously, if anyone wants to taste these, then if they come down on Thursday, there'll be lots and lots of different desserts for people to try out. So you'll get to actually enjoy and experience it as well. What
That's
do you think?
lovely. It's really rich,
lovely.
isn't it?
And that's dark chocolate in there.
So that's raw chocolate in there.
Raw.
So it means it hasn't been roasted. So when you heat things above 40 degrees, the enzyme activity is destroyed. But because this hasn't been roasted, you still have all this amazing medicine. So chocolate is actually really good for the brain. It helps keep you young.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a good excuse, isn't it? We'll keep eating it.
Actually, you've brought in quite a bit there,
I have.
Juliette, haven't
Would you like another
I'll be
bit?
15 by the time. So.
They do say that chocolate is anti-aging because of this it increases neurotransmitter activity. So it helps you to retain information. It helps you to concentrate more. It helps reduce wrinkles in your body because it's high antioxidant level. So I'm actually 120.
Well, you're looking good on
You
that.
look wonderful on it, yeah. What do you think? Do you like it,
It's
Matthew?
fabulous. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
But you get the chocolate, don't you? You get that little hit.
You do, exactly. And because it's raw and because it's got the raw chocolate and it's got no bad ingredients for you, you don't need tons of it. You have a little bit and your body goes, you know what, I'm actually fine now. Because what happens normally when we have a chocolate bar is your body is probably craving magnesium. It wants certain things from that chocolate. So you go, okay, I'll have a square. You have that square, and then 5 minutes later you're like, I'll just have one more. And then you keep going in this way because your body is going, where is the magnesium? Where is the medicine that I'm eating this food for? But because it's not getting it, it keeps going and going and going until you have a headache and you feel sick because you've eaten too much.
So this is why people are chocoholics, really,
Exactly,
isn't it? It
because-
is like smoking or drinking. You get hooked.
Yeah, because they're looking for something that they're not getting, so they keep trying to find it. And this is the same with all foods. We eat an empty diet, most of us, which is high in food but low in nutrition. And we're meant to have the opposite. We're meant to have high nutrition, low food, so a minimum optimum diet. So you eat a small amount, and in that, it's bursting to the seams with goodness.
The nutritionist Juliette Bryant is our guest, and she's written a book called Divine Desserts, How to Have Your Cake and Eat It. And there are loads of recipes in here, and she's coming to Norwich next Thursday as well, Thursday evening. I wonder, though, about the guilt factor, because traditionally, when you're eating a dessert, you feel guilty about it, maybe, and you limit yourself a little bit. But do you have this, Jo? You
I do,
have that
yeah.
extra slice of cake, and you say, "Oh
I know.
dear," and it makes you feel bad. But with this, presumably,
There's no guilt involved. There literally is no guilt. You're just doing your body good.
it's a free pass.
I love it. I think it's brilliant. There you go. It's for your sticky fingers. I know
Yes.
she's got sticky
It's all
fingers.
over the equipment here.
So what I do is I make these up in advance. I make the fudge and I make raw chocolate brownies and things like that, and I keep them in the freezer. So then whenever the children come home from school or when friends come over, I've always got desserts there that I can just pull out, and they take 5 minutes to make. That's the thing with raw desserts. They are so quick and easy to make. So you're not going to spend hours in the kitchen, but the result is, I think, fabulous.
And the point of having a dessert, something like the recipes you've produced in the traditional desserts, is that we do it because it makes us feel good, it's social, but also it gives a little whiz to the brain, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Oh, really? Yeah, God, lovely chocolate bar or anything like that. So actually, the more you have, if you have a dessert like this every evening, it's not doing you any harm, but it's doing you a lot of good mentally, I'm sure.
That's exactly right, because also when you're reducing that guilt, they've shown that, the power of our thoughts are massive on our body. So it's like if someone goes on a diet, all they can think about is the things they shouldn't be having. Have you ever done that where you say, I'm not gonna drink any alcohol, or I'm not gonna have any chocolate bars, or I'm not gonna have whatever it is?
That's negative, though, isn't it?
And then all you do is you think about that thing and you fixate on it. So it becomes a really negative thing for your body. Whereas actually, if you're not restricting yourself per se, you're swapping. You're saying, instead of having this, I'm going to have this version. I'm going to have a healthy version. Then it's not like you're actually cutting things out of your life. You're not restricting your life and making it less fun. You're just swapping it for something that's actually going to boost your life.
Well, that sounds great to me. Sounds
Would
ideal.
you try one of these recipes?
Yes, absolutely. absolutely. I can see the book there, actually. I think
Yeah.
it's certainly something, and it's easy to make, you said. So it's
Really
all
easy
raw
to make,
cooking.
yeah. And I've had lots of people test these out over the years. I'm as a nutritionist, I work one-to-one with a lot of people, so I give them these kind of alternatives so that they can start incorporating them into their lives. And I do work with different businesses as well, so I create recipes for businesses if they want to create a vegan option in their menu or something like that. So that, I've been to so many restaurants where you say, well, what can I have on the dessert on the menu? And I'm gluten-free as well as vegan. And usually it's like, well, we can do your fruit salad.
Oh, no.
And you think, well, I don't really want a fruit salad. Fruit's lovely, but it's a bit boring if you're out to eat. I want something special like
Something
everyone
a
else.
little unctuous. And,
Exactly.
yes,
and usually with chocolate,
peanut butter and choc cookies, lemon chocolate mousse, ice lollies. Ice lollies? No E numbers.
No E numbers, no. I love making them for my children because they love ice lollies. And in the summer, when it's really hot, it's nice to know that they're getting loads of nutrients in a fun way.
Look at that chocolate cake,
Let me
Joe,
have a
there.
look.
Oh, the
Ecstatic chocolate cake.
yeah.
Wow.
It looks like you've got a floral arrangement on top there.
my
What's
goodness.
all that?
So there's goji berries on that, Incan berries, which are amazing. There's some lavender flowers on there. There's some cherries. There's some cacao nibs on there, and also some hemp seeds. So it is quite a feast, isn't it?
It's beautiful. It really is lovely, isn't it? Would you know where to start with that, Matthew? If someone brought it round for dinner?
I think I'd be able to eat it, yeah. How many recipes are in the book, then?
33.
33.
Yeah.
And they all follow the rule that it's got to be delicious, but
Exactly.
it's got to be no refined sugar.
No refined sugar, no gluten, and no animal products. And my kind of philosophy with Divine Desserts, that there are kind of 3 principles that I go by with Divine Desserts, is firstly, it has to taste divine. We all want to have something that tastes nice. And if you have something that doesn't taste nice, you're not likely to go back for it, are you? So it has to taste nice to really tantalise us, because we're all sensual beings and we want delicious things. And the second one is that all the ingredients used are actually not harming ourselves or the planet, because that's a really important thing for me as well. Fair trade and organic, and really being respectful of where we're sourcing our foods from. And then the third thing is that they're all made with love.
Oh.
That's my ethos. I like putting love into my food so that everyone who tastes it can feel that love.
Well, Juliette, thank you very much for bringing in first of all, for bringing in some examples.
My pleasure.
So I think we very much enjoyed it, haven't we?
Thank you. It was lovely.
It's not often we
good.
get guilt-free cake.
No, not at all. I feel absolutely fine now. No guilt at all.
Good.
I did promise you a cup of tea, didn't I? I don't think. Well, you got a glass of water
There's some
there.
water.
And thank you very much, Joe.
Oh,
for
you're welcome.
coming
Thank
down.
you for having
Thank you for
me. It's been a
tasting.
delight.
And thank you, Juliette. Now, how can people get on the tasting? It's next Thursday evening at the Forum in Norwich.
That's right. It's from 7 till 9. You need to book. Booking is essential, so I know how many delicious desserts to make for people. And you can go onto my website, which is julietteskitchen.tv.
And the book is Divine Desserts. And how can we get hold of a copy of that?
That's on my website too.
Great. Juliette Bryant, lovely to meet you. Thanks
Lovely
very much.
to meet you too. Thank you.
And thanks for the feed as well.
My pleasure.